Hi, my name is Sam and welcome to my YouTube channel. Actually, today I'm a little bit more elegant, which is my drag name. Now, for those of you who've been following my channel for a while, you know that I am a singing drag queen. For those of you who have never seen my channel, now you know my darkest secret already. And I've only ever made one video where I am in drag. It's a get ready with me, and I will link it here. It's a very long video, but I show you how all of this happens from scratch. And I've made another video where I talk about my relationship with drag, where I say that the reason why I've only ever done one video in drag is that I actually don't like doing makeup, and I think it shows. I mean, I look good, but I can only do this one look. Also, this is not a professional way of filming this. I'm not using professional equipment, so it's very likely that I just look like a man in a wig, which is ultimately what I am. But I think this closeness to the camera makes the magic disappear, so I apologise in advance. So, yes, I am the most anti-drag queen ever, in the sense that I love being a drag queen as a job. It's my passion to perform, it's my passion to sing. I'm a live singing drag queen, and I love singing, and I love singing in drag because I'm very gay, and I do like performing as a woman for that hour or two. But for me, it's the drag element is a means to an end to be able to sing as a woman. But I really dislike makeup. I appreciate the science behind it. You may know that I am a scientist at heart, so makeup really is a science, and I appreciate it conceptually, but it's a kind of science that doesn't resonate with me. It's just like cooking. I mean, cooking is chemistry, so I should like it, but I really don't. So this is not an attack on makeup artists or anything like that. This is the branch of science that you decided to specialize in. It's amazing. What makeup can do is insane. It really is magic, and I don't know how to do makeup, so even I can create a very different look from my usual self. So if I can do this with my non-existent skills, I know the makeup really is powerful. So again, I respect it. I just don't care for it. And again, compared to other queens, it shows. I mean, most other queens are really, really snatched. They have beautiful eyes, beautiful eyebrows. Again, my look sells, but you can tell I'm not a makeup artist at all. But hey, so why am I in drag today if I don't like drag that much? First of all, yes, I would never get into drag for fun. I only get into drag if I'm paid to perform. I would never do like a birthday party. You know, some parties have a theme. I would never dress up in drag for a birthday party because, again, I love performing, but I hate everything related to what happens behind the scenes. I hate shaving. If you've seen me out of drag, you know that I have very bushy eyebrows and they need to be covered with glue. I don't shave them off. I have a full beard, that has to go. So I hate shaving. I hate everything related to becoming a drag queen. I don't like looking for clothes. I only like this wig. It's always been my dream to be blonde, even as a man, but I would look horrendous because I'm very Mediterranean looking. But this wig is the closest to, fulfilling my fantasy that I can get to, and it's good enough. And I just love how natural it looks. I mean, a real girl with a little bit of work could potentially wear her hair like this. I love it. So yes, my wig is the highlight of my drag persona. So I would never get into drag just to make a video and then, to then take all my makeup off and go about my day normally. But I have a show after this, and for the first time in my life I'm going to walk to the venue from my house because it's literally in my local pub. I've been trying to get into that pub as a performer for a while, but they've never really got back to me. I've tried several times, but today I am doing a private birthday party, so the birthday girl has booked me as a performer, so I'm going there and I'm literally going to walk, because usually obviously I have to take the tube to go to whatever venue, or if it's outside London I have to take an actual train. But today, the fact that I can walk to the venue is the highlight of my day today. I can't wait to be on the street and walk my way to the venue. And so yes, I was never really planning to do another drag video. Also because, as I mentioned in the other videos, I don't follow the drag culture. I don't watch Drag Race. I don't particularly like drag queens. I like very few drag shows because I only like drag queens that have a very good talent and drag queens that are likeable. Now here in London, mainly in England, we primarily sing live, and not many queens can do that. Most of them can simply hold a tune, but it's very rare to find, not very rare, but it's rarer to find a drag queen that can actually sing, and I appreciate that talent, but also it's hard to find a queen that is also likeable for my standards. So yes, I don't like many drag shows. So as I said, I'm the most anti-drag drag queen ever. So I was never planning to do another video in drag because my personality doesn't really change in or out of drag. And I think there is this expectation of drag queens to to be extremely sassy and powerful, and they're beautiful and they're perfect, they're gorgeous, and yes, they need to be sassy, they need to be outspoken, they need to be larger than life. Now I am very outspoken out of drag as well, as you may know if you've watched other videos, so I don't think I could be any more outspoken in drag. And yes, I am not sassy, my personality doesn't change, because for me drag is not it's something that makes me really happy, and I'm extremely happy to be a drag queen, and about the fact that drag landed on my path basically. But again, I don't use it as a way to be something that I'm not. The way I am in drag, I'm already out of drag. In fact, my friends tell me that I am nicer in drag than I am out of drag. Because again, if you've seen my videos, you'll know that I can be quite brutal about opinions and what I think about the world. So I've been asked to make more drag videos, but I've always felt a bit not uncomfortable, but I've never really known what I could bring to the table, in the sense that, again, if you see a drag queen, you would even now you would expect me to be sassy, to snapping my fingers and talk about Drag Race and spilling the tea and all of that. I don't like or do any of that stuff, but simply because it's not who I am, I don't find it entertaining as an audience. So if I see even a YouTube video of a drag queen doing this stuff, I would never click on it because I would find it boring. But again, it's just, I understand that it's me, it's my problem. I should, everyone seems to like it, so I'm aware that it's a me problem, it's not a you problem. So again, each to their own. And by the same token, some people would not watch obviously my drag videos only because I've made only 2, and also some people may find me boring even on stage because I sing very good pop party songs, but my interaction with the audience is very nice. It's very welcoming. Some people want to be ripped to shreds by drag queens, so they might find my show not very entertaining. So again, each to their own. I'm not saying that my way is the way. So yes, I never really knew what I could bring to the table as a drag queen, because what I'm saying now in drag is what I would be saying out of drag, with no extra frills, there is no extra personality being added to what I'm saying. But recently I've noticed that my Get Ready With Me video, the drag one, has made a comeback in terms of popularity. So I then assumed that people wanted to see a bit more of that, so I even did a poll, and yes, quite a few people wanted to see more videos of me in drag. Now, as I've mentioned before, I don't really do role plays. I just don't, they're not for me. So yes, today we're going to talk about a couple of things with me in drag, but yes, it's just going to be me, basically. So, what I wanted to talk about, I didn't really even know what to talk about related to drag, because again, I am so far removed from the pop drag world that you may know through Drag Race or through social media in general, that I have no comments to bring, simply because I have nothing to comment on. It's not that I have negative comments that I don't want to share, because you know that I share far too much. So today I just wanted to tell you a couple of fun stories of my life as a drag queen. Now, purely out of coincidence, they are sex related stories, and I'll tell you why, but again, just think of the fun side of it. So let's start from an easy one, which has nothing to do with sex. And it's funny because obviously people, so I work all around London and outside London as well, and I meet a lot of people, and even if I don't meet them as in I shake their hands, you know, I see a lot of people and I have a very good photographic memory. So if you come to my show and you're quite close to me, chances are I will remember your face, even if we don't interact directly. So when I walk around London, I see a lot of faces that are very familiar. I can't quite place them, and chances are it's because I've seen them at one of my shows, but obviously they don't even look at me because they don't know who I am, because they only ever see me in drag. And it's mind-blowing how I could literally get away with anything, because like if I do anything in drag, nobody will ever be able to link it to me as a man, because nobody would ever recognize me. And sometimes, I mean, I'm used to that, but it still feels a bit strange that to the eyes of the world, I am two completely different people. And this is what these stories are about. They're about the fact that I recognise a lot of people, but they don't know who I am. And sometimes I think they know who I might be, but then they don't. So, in most venues, so what I usually do is this. I do my full face at home, because I don't like doing my makeup at the venue, and then I bring my drag clothes and my wig with me in a bag, and then I put them on at the venue. So I get on the train with my face done, with my normal hair and my normal clothes, and then I don't take my makeup off at the venue. I take my wig and my clothes off, and then I come home and I take my makeup off here at home, if I can. Obviously, if I'm in Cardiff, I will have to at least take it off there. Sometimes I do it there as well, depending on how early I get there. But yes, I have this option. Most drag queens only do their makeup at the venue because they don't want to be seen as a hybrid publicly, because obviously, unfortunately, some of them have had bad experiences in terms of bullying and potentially, risking more than just being bullied. I have to say I am extremely lucky because I have never had any problems. So every time I do drag, I walk from my house to the train with this face on. I get on the train and then I walk to the venue. Obviously people stare, but I also want them to. I mean, I'm in drag, and some of them look surprised, some of them look shocked, but let them look, I don't care. Also, I would look too. I mean, it's unusual to see a man, fully made up, and also a lot of people, so it's something you wouldn't expect to see on the train. So it's a normal reaction, and also some people, especially women, stare at me because they really like my makeup. I don't know why, because I mean, if I can do this, they can do it too. But I'll take the compliment. And so yes, they stare, and I love it. And some people on the train, they compliment me. They come up to me and say, "I'm really sorry to disturb you, but I just wanted to say that I love your makeup." And again, I don't know why, but I'll take it. But yeah, so most drag queens do not want to do that, so they go to the venue out of drag, they get ready there, and then they take their makeup off at the venue. So when they leave the venue, they are normal civilians. If I can avoid it, I will, because I just like to do all these things at home. Obviously, if I'm going out after my show, I'll have to take my makeup off at the venue. So I understand that most people never seen me completely out of drag, but apparently, wrongly so, I've always assumed that when I walk into a venue and I don't have my wig on, although obviously my makeup is there, I think you can sort of, gauge who I might be. But again, it turns out I'm wrong in thinking that. And so, yes, that's, and in some venues, sometimes I take my makeup off, so I know that some people know who I am out of drag because I know that they go to that venue where I sometimes take my makeup off. So, yes, sometimes I do know, sometimes I don't know who they know me as. And once we went to Gran Canaria last year for Summer Pride in May, and I went with one friend of mine, but then we joined other friends that were there, some friends that I knew that are quite close, and some of their friends. Yeah, when we were there, we didn't spend the whole holiday together, but we knew who we all were. And on a Thursday, I host drag karaoke in a venue here in South London, and sometimes my friend come as a group, and not only them, but they also bring friends of friends. So when they all come, it's usually a table of 20, 25, 30 people, which is brilliant. And obviously I don't really talk to all of them because some of them are complete strangers, and also I'm working, so I don't really have all the time that I would like to have to interact with them as human beings, not just as customers. But I know their faces. Obviously they know my face in drag, but for some reason, I always assumed that they all knew who I was out of drag. Maybe because, I don't know, my friends had shown them pictures of me, or maybe because I'd taken at least my wig off. Well, there is one of these guys that was in Gran Canaria. He comes to my karaoke every now and then with my friends. So when I went to Gran Canaria, he was already there. I said hi. I was out of drag, obviously. I said hi, expecting him to know who I was, but not because I think I'm famous, but just because I just naturally assumed he knew who I was. And he completely dismissed me. He barely said hi, to the point where I didn't even know if he understood that I was a friend of his friend. And every time we bumped into each other as a group throughout that holiday, he completely dismissed me. Like, he never said anything, so I even stopped saying hi. I thought it was a bit bizarre, but hey. Then we came back from Gran Canaria, and a couple of weeks after, they all came to my karaoke, and I was in drag. And this guy was there, and I was talking on the microphone, and I said a couple of things, and general things, and I said, you know, I've just come back from Gran Canaria with some of these people here, and I said, and you were there too. And he went, yeah, how do you know that? And I said, well, I was there with you the whole time. And he went, what? In drag? I said, no, not in drag, but I was there with you. I'm friends with Tom, who is our mutual friend, basically. And like he froze. I mean, he could not wrap his head around the fact that we knew each other and that I was there, because he couldn't place me, he couldn't connect the dots. So I said, no, but I was there. We even went here and here and there together. And even then, I mean, still then, he had no idea what I was talking about. So while someone was singing, I showed him a picture of me out of drag, and I mean, literally had no idea. I mean, he knew who I was out of drag, but he had no idea whatsoever that that guy was the drag queen, so that I was that guy. And it was so mind-blowing to me, because it was just very funny. And I just couldn't believe that he had no idea that it was me. But hey, so that happened. Again, these are not life-changing stories, but it's, you know, the everyday life of a drag queen. Now, the two sexier stories. The first one is about a missed opportunity, and I will always beat myself up for it, because it's my fault that it was missed. So there is this one venue in Greenwich that used to be my drag home, so I was there quite often, and you know, I was relevant within the venue. And the funny thing is that when I go to these venues, I turn on my grinder, knowing full well that I can't, you know, hope for anything because I'm in drag. But you know, I just want to have a taste of the local produce. And some people text me. I don't text anyone, but some people text me. Some people have no idea who I am. They don't even know that there might be a drag. Well, they may not even know that there is a drag show at the venue. So yeah, they just text me as a normal civilian, obviously, without knowing what they're getting themselves into. But some of them, I know for a fact that they know who I am out of drag, because that is one of those venues where I sometimes take my makeup off, and I'm like, it's very bold of you to do that. Unfortunately, I don't fancy them back. Otherwise, I wouldn't care. You know, I don't see anything wrong in having a bit of fun, especially if they text me first, knowing who I am. So I would never text them myself, even if I fancied them, because I understand there is a professional boundary there. But if they make the first move, I don't care. But anyway, well, there is this one guy that comes quite often, and he is delicious, absolutely glorious. He has a boyfriend, and I never knew whether they were open or not. It turns out that they are. And one day, I think one day I found him on Grindr, actually, yes, but obviously, to my own detriment, I had to, you know, stop myself from texting him, because, yeah, obviously, yeah, he's a client, not a customer. But one day he messaged me, and I was over the moon. I was like, yes, I am in. Obviously, as a guy in an open relationship, he was only looking for fun, which is all I wanted from him. So I was ecstatic. But I just, again, naturally assumed that he knew who I was. But again, not because I feel famous, but just because, you know, I've been, you know, in that venue a lot of times, with or without makeup. So I obviously knew that he knew who I was. So I think I just made a joke about, being the drag queen. Well, it turns out he did not know who I was out of drag. And when he said that, I said, okay, well, now that you know who I am, I understand if you don't want to take things further, because I understand that you may feel awkward coming back to the show in the future. And he said, yes, it's probably best if we keep things separate. And if I hadn't said anything, I would have met him outside the venue on a different occasion, and I would have had the fun that I wanted. But I shot myself in the foot by disclosing my real identity, and to this day, every time I see him, it kills me inside because he is delicious. Bye. So there you go. Now I'm going to talk about another story that I think I mentioned in another video on the dark rooms that I will link here for as long as YouTube allows me to do that. But in case you haven't seen it, I will repeat it. So I went to this, it's a cruising bar with obviously a dark room here in London, and that was my first time going after years of meaning to try it. One Sunday I decided to go because otherwise, I knew that I would just keep postponing it. So I went, and dark rooms and cruising bars are not exactly, it's something I'm growing to feel comfortable in, but at the time I wasn't really. Also, it was also not really planned. It was a last minute thing, so I wasn't mentally ready. So anyway, I went obviously out of drag, and we had to be, I think you could wear whatever you wanted. So there was usually there's a dress code that night. It was, you can wear as much or as little as you want. And it wasn't very busy. It was a Sunday, and the minute I walk in, I look around and I see a couple of people that I know. One guy is a friend of a friend, not related to drag, and then I see this one guy that I know through the same venue in Greenwich, and I knew that he knew who I was out of drag. And then I saw this other guy. So this guy he also comes to this venue in Greenwich, and I know for a fact that he knows who I am out of drag. And we've had banter before, friendly banter with no ulterior motive. But I was like, oh come on, of all people, because I know them. I know we're all adults, and mine is not really it's not a corporate job where we need to keep professional distance. But I'm there as a performer that you come and see perform. Now, I'm there in a dark room, almost naked. I can see that might make them uncomfortable, and it makes me uncomfortable. I know it's silly because it shouldn't make me uncomfortable, but hey, it does a little bit. So I try to avoid him in every possible way that I could, because I didn't want to find myself in the situation where I was literally standing opposite him and we had to say hi. The problem with this darkroom was that it was fairly small, and because it wasn't very busy and I don't fancy many people, I kept walking around hoping for something new to come up. But I managed to keep my distance from this guy. I don't think he had seen me, so I don't think he was purposely trying to avoid me. So I was purposely trying to avoid him, and I made it so that he hadn't even seen me, which was great. Until I found myself, so he was coming this way with a friend. So it was him and a friend. Well, now I now know it was his boyfriend. And then I was coming this way, but by the time I realised what was happening, it was too late to back out. So I had to keep going, and I knew we would cross paths. But even then, he would not have seen me because he was looking the other way randomly. So I could have got away with it if it hadn't been for his boyfriend, who saw me and started touching me, which in a dark room is okay. I mean, it's a way of showing interest. So I froze. And then the guy that I know, his name is Alex, he looked at me and he went, "Oh my god, you're elegant." And I went, "Yes, Alex, I'm elegant. Let's pretend this never happened." And then we walked our separate ways. And I know there's nothing to be ashamed of, in the sense that he knows that I was there because he was there too, and the other way around. So, you know, we're both as guilty as each other. And now every time we see each other, even at my shows, we have this inside joke now, you know, "I didn't recognise you with so many clothes on." So it's fine, it's absolutely fine. But again, while it was happening, I was like, oh no, I'm too famous a drag queen to go to these places. And on Grindr a couple of times it's happened that someone messaged me saying, because I used to have a YouTube channel where I taught English as a foreign language, so as well as this one. It's still active, but I don't post anymore. And a few people said, "Oh my gosh, you're Sam from Inglogic, or you're Sam from the ASMR video channel." And I'm like, yeah. And this happened a couple of days ago. So it's now the 18th of January when I'm filming this, and I think next week I will tell you why I went back home. So I'll tell you about my Christmas. I was back home for Christmas, and then I went to Spain for New Year's Eve, and then I went back home again before coming. So I came back to London, then I went back home for a couple of days, and then I came back here. And I'll tell you why in that video. But when I was back in Italy, this guy messaged me on Grindr saying, "Oh my gosh, you're the guy from YouTube, and I randomly found your channel last night while I was trying to fall asleep, and here you are." So yes, I'm too famous. I'm too famous for all these gay things. But yes. Okay. I just wanted to put a little smile on your faces. I hope I've managed to achieve that. Again, I hope you're not disappointed by how undrag-like this video was, but at least I hope you liked my wig, because I absolutely adore it. Now it's time for me to make a move, because I have a show to go to. So enjoy. No, I was about to say enjoy your weekend, because it's Saturday for me, but for you it will be a Wednesday. So enjoy the rest of your week, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.